Hi guys, my goodness, how the heck did Laura Kuenssberg become a journalist? Is it like collect 100 coupons from the back of a crisp packet or something like that? We've had numerous examples of her treating Tory ministers differently to their shadow counterparts in the opposition parties over the last number of years. But it seems now that the tables have turned, she's suddenly grown a more critical streak. Labour have been in power for a few weeks now, but she's already claiming they have failed the voters. Have a listen to this.
One of the things that's been striking to me is that there is nothing that Rachel Reeves and Keir Starmer are doing right now that will put money in the pockets of the poorest people in the country. Nothing. Their reform to public services, more NHS appointments, getting planning decisions going, reforming the economy, all of those things may or may not yield fruit that people will feel the benefit from. But there is nothing immediate for people who have suffered the most or are having the hardest time. And I'm not saying that to be critical.
It is still July.
It's still July, but for a Labour Chancellor to be in that position when we know how much people in the country have struggled in the last few years is something, it's not comfortable for her.
We were really clear during the election that we were not going to make spending commitments without being able to say where the money was going to come from. And if I said to you now, we're going to make those changes this year or next year or the year after, you would rightly say, where's the money going to come from that? If we're not able to say where the money is going to come from, we can't promise to do it.
You've got former people like former Chancellor, former Prime Minister Gordon Brown speaking out all the time about what he would call destitution in Britain in the 2020s. And I think there's definitely a vulnerability for her as a politician, as a Labour politician in that particular place.
Okay, I'm always concerned about criticising experts or criticising journalists because I'm not a journalist myself. But surely when it comes to putting money in people's pockets, that's part of the budget. So when she's saying, why isn't Rachel Reeves and Keir Starmer putting money in people's pockets now? Well, wouldn't that require a budget? Now, hopefully we're not going to go down the road of a mini budget. We saw how that worked out. But surely, and maybe I'm wrong here, maybe I'm missing something. I'm not a journalist, so maybe I'm missing something. But surely it's when it comes to money for departments, that will be part of a budget. Now, I don't know when the budget will be. It could be in the summer. It could be in the autumn. Normally, I think it's in the autumn. So what will happen at the moment is government departments are going to have to work with the money that they already had earmarked from the previous government. And then when the new budget arrives, it will say, okay, this is the new money for these different departments. That's my understanding of it. Maybe I'm wrong. So to say, why isn't Keir Starmer and Rachel Reeves putting money in people's pockets today? Well, in a sense, they're not doing it because they don't have a budget. If they did it without a budget, then wouldn't it end up a bit like Liz Truss? It wouldn't be costed. The government can't just say, unless it's an emergency situation, unless they say it's a state of emergency, we need to find money immediately to solve this problem. Many people would say, housing is an emergency, homelessness is an emergency, but the government don't seem to treat it like that, in the same way as a natural disaster or an earthquake or some terrorist attack or something like that. But to suggest that it's already failed, the government in a sense has failed because they haven't put money in people's pockets straight away, well, is a failure of journalism. But once again, I try to hold back because I'm not a journalist and maybe I'm missing something. So we would hope that Rachel Reeves, as Chancellor, would put money in people's pockets, the poorest in society, the most vulnerable, people that definitely need more money than the richest in society. But we would imagine that would be done through a budget, not ad hoc. But once again, if I'm missing something, please point it out to me. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.